at 10.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Evan Forrester.
And I'm Heather Warner. The family of a York City man who was killed in January wants the county to charge his killer with murder. They say they have proof that this was premeditated.
But the York County District Attorney's Office says the person who shot Joshua Clark acted in self-defense. Fox 43's Melanie Orleans is here to show us why the DA says the shooting wasn't planned and why the family doesn't believe it.
Yeah, Evan, Heather, the shooting happened on January 18th during what police say was a gun trade. Ended far different than expected and cost Joshua Clark his life, and now his family and investigators are at odds over who's at fault. This was the scene on January 18th at the intersection of Broad and Walnut Streets in York. We were there minutes after police arrived, but what one family says happened is completely different from what police say, and it has this aunt pleading for justice.
They closed this and said it's like basically a black on black crime, so just let it go.
Court documents state 16-year-old Dejon Jacobs and 22-year-old Joshua Clark met for a gun trade arranged by their friend Chris Hill, but it didn't go as planned. Joshua Clark put his gun to Dejon Jacobs' neck, and that's when Jacobs pulled out his gun and fired multiple times. Clark never made it to the hospital. He died on scene. Police say Jacobs acted in self-defense.
My client's not a murderer. He was defending himself.
But Tanika Moore says that's not true. She says posts by Jacobs on Facebook under the name Young Hattie Hill prove he planned this. This is a picture of the intersection where the shooting happened. Tanika says Jacobs posted it on Facebook 2 days before her nephew died.
If that's not ballsy, I don't know what is.
Besides that picture, Tanika says Jacobs posted that he was, quote, going to jail tonight, and commented that it was a challenge and that's the one he picked. Tanika says Jacobs is talking about her nephew. She showed the pictures to a detective, but she never heard anything back.
We showed him pictures. We showed him evidence that this was premeditated. These two young men, I don't know what they were trying to accomplish or whatever, but the text on Facebook is a self-explanatory by itself.
Prosecutor Sarah Buheit says the Facebook posts don't prove this was murder.
There's so many things that get posted on Facebook that may or may not be true, and so something like that isn't necessarily evidence.
Buheit says despite what's written in these posts, it didn't change the course of the investigation.
We certainly ethically cannot charge something that we can't prove beyond a reasonable doubt.
Police charged both Jacobs and Hill, who are minors, with felony firearm charges. The family of Joshua Clark says that's not enough. They say this is an injustice and they won't stop fighting until they get the answers they want.
If you want the crime to stop, then you have to make a prime example. You have to.
Because both suspects are minors, they're being held in county detention centers. Evan.
Thank you, Mel. New tonight, police